So, I woke up this morning and we got a little bit of snow, but what followed it was rain. So, what you got is you got this icy slush mix, which is exceptionally slippery. So, yeah, I'm in the south, I'm in the Outer Banks. So, the fact that we got snow, this is the first time we've had snow in like 3 years. Uh, and it's pretty. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty, but yeah. Um, so let's. I just wanted to share that with you because I mean everybody's excited around here because we haven't had snow in forever, right? For those of you that have been impacted by these snowstorms that's gone through, um, my heart goes out to you because I've people. One of the things that you have to realize with snow and especially ice, you see this tree? That tree is leaning very badly. Okay, that's from the weight of the ice, right? Um, if you watched Prepper Nurse One's video earlier this week, you would see where he was talking on the video and a tree snapped and you could hear it in the background snap and fell down, and he's got trees falling all over the place, all over his drive and everything else. So when you're living off grid, you have to take that into consideration, um, especially if you're looking to buy a property. Dude, shush. If you're looking to buy a property, you want to look at how how much growing space you have. You want to look at some of the county rules as far as what kind of outbuildings and can what kind of farm animals you can have because they're not authorized everywhere. Duke. Um, Josh. But one of the other things is you want to look at any possible hazards when you build your house. And one of those is trees, right? Trees can provide a lot of things. Um, One of the reasons I went with dwarf trees along here is because, and you'll notice I planted them a good distance from the house. Um, if a tree falls, it could take out your house, right? It could block you in. So you need to have things on hand to deal with that situation, and you need to be aware of, okay, yeah, if you go off grid, you're normally away from the main city, so any ice and snow that comes through, you could be locked in for months, depending on where you buy, right? Um, but you could also have trees come down, and you're responsible for getting rid of those trees, right? The city ain't gonna come out and do it for you. Uh, so these are small issues that can become disasters, right? Um, I heard a story about a family that bought property. I believe it was in Alaska, off-grid property, and they got up there and they were used to living in Pennsylvania where services were pretty close by, and they got up there and they didn't have enough food and they ended up dying, unfortunately. um so anytime that you go to look at buying property, you want to look at the obvious. How much is the growing space? How much is the water? Is there fresh water on property? Does it have a place where I can put up like solar panels for solar power? Um, does it have trees in the area that I can use for wood, right? For wood burning. Um, how far back off the main road am I? Uh, how badly tree lined is the trail coming back to my property? How far from medical services is it? These are things you need to actually think about because, especially uh, as you get older, the availability of medical will become an issue, right? Um, Also, the availability of other services like how far away is the nearest gas station? How far away is a grocery store? Are there farmers around me that I can get fresh food from? Right? Um, these are all issues that people don't think about when they look at doing a homestead. You just do not look at a piece of property, fall in love with it, and decide, okay, this is going to be my homestead, and we'll figure out the rest. No, okay, because you got to worry about, is the property accessible by the road, right? Or do I have to build a road? Um, what are the county rules on, let's say, septic systems, on rainwater catchment, on electric, right? Because some counties, believe it or not, will not allow tiny homes. They will not allow you to be 100% off grid. You have to have power to your house site, okay? And in some counties, especially out west, you cannot do rain catchment. So all of these are issues that you need to look at. But my main thing today is looking at the snow and the slush and the ice that we have. Uh, you have to be careful, right? Some of the simple things you can buy is you can buy little cleats that you can put over top of your shoes so that you don't slip and fall and break a hip or bust the back of your head open. Trust me, I've done it. I've slid down this step last time we had snow here. I actually stepped out of the door there and slid all the way to there. uh, because, I'm from the South. We don't deal with snow and ice, right? That's another thing. If you're driving, you have to deal with other people who are also driving who may not have the experience that you have, even though you may have grown up with a lot of snow and ice, okay, in an area where there's a lot of snow and ice. The people that you live around may not know how to drive in it, okay? It's just a fact. So accidents here in my area, we had 12 accidents before midnight last night, okay, and it wasn't really snowing until about midnight last night. So you know it's crazy, right? It's crazy. Common sense. Before you do something major like buy a property, which is a huge expense, okay, most properties will range anywhere from 30,000 on up to over $1 million. So it's a huge expense buying property. It's a huge undertaking deciding to go off grid. You just don't go, oh, I'm going to go off grid today. No, it's a huge undertaking. You just don't jump into it. You need to have some kind of plan and follow that plan, even if you have to give up certain aspects of your plan in order to make it work. By that I mean, let's say you buy 25 acres, right? And you decide, well, I want to have cows. Well, 25 acres, you might have one or two cows on 25 acres, but then you find out that cows really, really eat a lot, right? and you're going to end up with no feed for them, right? So, and they are big, so they can knock you over and they can stomp you out or whatever. So maybe you decide, okay, maybe cows is not the way I need to go. Maybe sheep or goats would be better, right? So adjusting your plan is not a bad thing to do, but you have to use a little bit of common sense. Um, in today's society, it's exceptionally hard to be 100% off grid, and that's the truth. Okay, even if you have no power to your home site and you have no water to your home site, you're still going into town to get gas for your generator. You're still going to have to be able to get to available stores to buy spare parts for your solar system, right? You're still going to have to figure out, okay, how do I keep my water from freezing in the wintertime? All right, you're still going to have to figure out, okay, uh, where do I go to get wood for my wood stove? So it's exceptionally hard to be 100% off grid. You can do it, but you have to have the availability of the funds, and you have to have the availability of knowing where to go to get things when you do need them. That's why I say that being 100% off grid, it's exceptionally hard to do. Okay, it just does not come around without planning, right? And you should be, if this is something that you want to do, you should be brainstorming what works for you, right? And how do I go about making this plan happen? This could mean budgeting now for later, uh, or you could adjust your plan to be, okay, you know what? I really don't like snow and ice, so I'm going to stay down south where the likelihood of snow and ice is pretty rare, right? Which is what I did, right? Um, and I have no clue about solar power, so I'm gonna get a place that's on grid, right? So you adjust your plan and you think about your dream and you make it work with what you have available and what you're able to afford, right? That's a big one. What you're able to afford. Uh, yeah. So enjoy the snow, folks. Try to stay warm. Try to stay off the roads if possible. Um, and try and use a little bit of common sense, right? Because as we've seen with Maui, with the Appalachians, and now with California, the government is not going to come and help you. They are incompetent. It's unfortunate, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out why you had fire hydrants with no water. I'm sorry, that's incompetence. That is not a boo boo. That's incompetence, okay? The fire chief and the mayor and the governor should all be brought up on charges for property damage and death, because I'm sure the death toll is going to go up there in California. My heart goes out to y'all. My heart still goes out to the people in Appalachia who, some of them are still intense in this weather. Think about that. Um, and whew, it's been a busy week, folks. I hope you enjoy my conversation, and leave me a comment. Hit the like button so I know that I'm not just speaking to myself, right? Bicycle.